my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is part 9, I believe. Yes, part 9. Wow, part 9. That's so amazing. How many parts that it takes to do this unboxing, because there's just so much stuff. And it's really part 1 of 2 for the finale, because it's all the slabs and some pretty cool books. And we're going to just get right into it. We're going to show some cool books right off the bat with this one. This is Teen Comics number 24. It's just a really great Good Girl art series. So this was produced by Marvel Comics, and Marvel Comics actually had a bunch of different series for Good Girl art comics. I think it actually had like 10 or 15. Like it was like quite a number. There was Patsy Walker, there was Cindy, there was Georgie, there was Tess the Typist, there was Millie the Model, just like all these. There was like comedy comics. There was like so many different titles that they had, all Good Girl comics. So these comics would have been like in the late 40s, early 50s era. And it was just, that was the hot thing. So everyone's thinking pre-code was popular back then, but really the big thing, this is post-war, post-Second World War, was Good Girl. And you get some really great titles. This is from 1947. So as I said, like sort of after the Second World War, and you get all these great titles from Marvel. Marvel kind of moved out of doing the superhero stuff and more into promoting the Good Girl art stuff, which is interesting. So I like this one. So typically you get the situation where the girl is, that you get like sort of the Betty Veronica situation where the two girls are fighting over the man. Okay? Well, this is the opposite of that. The two girls are fighting about who should who should be with him. They're like, oh, no, you have him. No, you have him. So I think it's just a really funny cover. So yeah, so and he's all happy. He's like, oh, they're fighting over me. Well, not quite. So just a fun one. So that's Teen Comics number 24. And okay, so this is another really cool one. This is Ultimate Comics SpiderMan, and so Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, and this is actually the second appearance of Miles Morales. Does it say that? Origin of Spider-Man Miles Morales. So kind of a key book for those people that like Miles Morales, and actually it was one that I've been trying to pick up at a reasonable price, because it was always like just kept on going up. However, Alex the Comic Book Hoarder had a claim sale, and this was one of the books that was in the claim sale. The funny thing was, I actually was showing it in the previous video, that I had gotten a bunch of these books from the claim sale, but what I didn't mention, and I should have mentioned, was the lot, like when the order came into my Stackry account, where all these books are coming from, which is a mail forwarding company that I send to Canada, well, this book got lost. Everything got lost. The whole order got lost. So I was like, I didn't receive it. And I was like, it's been a few months. I'm like, where did this order go? So I had them, like, I reached out to the guy that sold me the books, and he was like, yeah, you should have received it. It says it was received. So I'm like, oh, I didn't get it. Do you have the tracking number? So I got the tracking number, and then I called Stackry, and I was like searching for this thing, and they found it. It was like put in somebody else's bin. So I was like, what? You know, so basically it, yeah, I was worried that I wasn't going to get this order. I thought it was lost. So yeah, so this was the one slab that I had ordered from that collection. But you can see the rest of the order in the previous video. But it was just, I was really nervous that I wasn't going to get this at all, because at first it was lost, and they had just accidentally put it into somebody else's bin. Fortunately, they did find it for me. Okay, this next one is a really interesting book. doesn't say what it is, but it is actually a very cool key. This is Rocky and his fiendish friends. So fiendish friends. Fiendish friends. But it's a really cool book because it has pretty much all the major kind of characters. We got Dudley Do-Right, we got Peabody and Sherman, we got Natasha, we got Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Boris up there as well. So all kind of these major characters. But that's not what this book is. That's not what the key is of this book. The key of this book is the fact that it is the first Gold Key comic. So it's a really cool book. I grew up reading Gold Key comics. Like all the Disney comics that I got were from Gold Key. And it's just cool to find the very first comic that they ever published, which was this one. So this is from 1962. And it's it's a nice painted cover, and it's a high grade, a 7.0 for a kid's book. That's really high grade. And then we got just a really nice painted cover. So that's what a lot of these Gold Keys they would do. They take the cover and they give you the virgin variant on the back, which is kind of nice. So yeah. So it's Rocky Pinup #1, it says on the back as well, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, so I think that was kind of cool. Get the very first Gold Key comic ever produced. Okay, the next one is an interesting one. So one of the things that I sometimes do, I like buying slabs. Every so often I just randomly will look for cheap slabs. And one of the things you can do is you can go to eBay and search CGC, okay, 9.8, okay, just for fun. And then you can order it from lowest to highest. So you'd find all the cheap slabs. Like sometimes you can find like slabs for $1 even. And what I sometimes will do is I'll use that same kind of logic, but on my comic shop, where I go to eBay's version of my comic shop, and where their store is on eBay, I'll search through their store, lowest to highest, and find all their cheap slabs. Then I go over to my comic shop and buy it directly from them. So one of the slabs that I saw was like basically less than the cost of the slab itself. And it was actually one that I liked the cover for. Is I collect Jenny Frison, and I actually have I have the other version of this one. This is Eat the Rich #1, and it's the Jenny Frison retail incentive variant, I believe it's called. Does it say? No, but it is a variant. I believe it's the retail, not the retail, but it's like a ratio variant or just a variant for this cover, and I just thought it was a really cool cover. It says partial sketch variant, which is right in here. I guess this would be partial sketch, but just a really cool cover, and cool to get that, for the cost of the slab. And a 9.8. I like getting more 9.8s in my collection. So so from 2021, Eat the Rich #1. Nice Jenny Frison cover. And for the cost of the slab, I think it was like $20. So it was a pretty good price. Another one that was actually a really good price was this one. This is, they were showing this for some reason a lot on different hot channels. And I just really kind of liked the cover. Just thought it was a really great perspective of Daredevil. So this is Daredevil 184. And it has like a Punisher appearance as well. So maybe that's why it was a bit hot, because they were talking about Punisher being in the next Daredevil series. So this is Daredevil 184. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Very cool cover. I just really like that. So really got to read this series. It's a Frank Miller story, and yeah, Klaus Jansen cover and art. So nice. I like those yellow covers as well. And this comic, this next one, I actually thought I had in my collection. And I was like looking for it and never could find it. So I don't know. I always thought I had this book. So I decided, hey, I might as well pull the trigger and finally get this book. The price was a little bit down, so I figured it was a good time to buy it. This is Iron Man 128, and it's the one where it's the demon in a bottle, where Tony Stark is dealing with his alcoholism. So just a really cool classic cover, classic story for Iron Man, and yeah, I thought it was a reasonable price. So I didn't, I always like to buy books when the price is a bit down. So yeah, so this is Iron Man 128. Very cool book, very classic cover, by Bob Layton. So that's kind of cool, and a very famous story, just a really classic story for him. Okay, next one is a really great one. This is a Good Girl art cover. I really like this cover. This is Face Dooley #4. And Face Dooley is another one of these military-related like comic series, but with a good girl flavor to it. Like if you look at a lot of the covers from Face Dooley, a lot of good girl themes to them. So I just really like this one. All right, Dogface, turn in your good conduct medal. And it's like, oh, Daddy, I guess he's not being so good there. So yeah, so just a really cute one, from 1952. So really nice, good girl art cover. Very, very headlight cover as well. So very interesting. Okay, so that's Face Dooley number 4. And if you watch the early parts of this unboxing series, I was showing and just talking about a comic series from Uncle Scrooge by Don Rosa. And so what happened was Don Rosa made just a really cool historical series about Scrooge McDuck. And it's sort of like going back into the 1800s all the way into the 30s and beyond. And it just was a series. I think it's like 15 books in the whole entire series. But because of this one book that I'm about to show you, Disney said that they were not going to reprint the series ever again. And I think Don Rosa sort of mentioned that to the world, and all of a sudden the prices for this book went through the roof. It went from being like a $10 book to like a couple $100 book. There was an auction on my comic shop where I just happened to win this really great book for a great price. Like I think it was $100. But it's a 9/6 Uncle Scrooge number 295, the sort of the banned book. I think it's because of this character. Kind of, they're a little bit upset about the depiction of this character, and but it's a Titanic sinking book. It's like so much going on here. It's just a really cool book, and you got them walking off like across the ice, which is interesting. So just a really great cover. So it's a Titanic cover and story, Don Rosa art. Just really great. He's one of the major artists. Like when you think of Uncle Scrooge, you think of Carl Barks and Don Rosa. They're the two biggest ones for Uncle Scrooge. So really great to get that. I'm trying to get the whole series. I'm missing just a few more issues, but hoping to finish that series. Okay, next is, this one's a really fun one. Katie Keene. I've been sort of getting more and more into Katie Keene because I really like these kind of Archie-like good girl art covers. It is an Archie series. So Katie Keene, this is Bill Woogan's story, a cover and story, and just a really great Good Girl art cover. Like, there's always, whenever, the weird thing about Katie Keene is she always has this other girl with her, sis, and just like so annoying. She's like kind of this weird little character, sort of side character. Um, she's going around popping all the balloons. She's being a devil. And the guy is like checking out Katie Keene. Katie Keene, very interesting character. Yeah. So, Good Girl art comics. And the very last one, what is it going to be? Back to cheap slabs. Okay, so this is a bit of a cheap slab. I thought it was a cool cover though. Again, I like getting things in the 9/8 sometimes. And this one is a fun one. This is kind of a classic 90s cover. Just like, it is like the gimmicks of the 90s. So you think of, what do you think about the 90s? When you think of the gimmick covers, you think of like the foils and the gold, silver, and like different editions. And then you think of like the die cut covers, and there's like all these different things. They even had like a thing where they would put like on the one with the Bane breaking Batman's back, they had like this little sleeve so that it would protect the spine, and like all these weird gimmicks that they came out of from the 90s. Well, one of the funny gimmicks that they had was glow in the dark, and I always think of this cover. I think I had this one in like a raw, but I got this for like, it's a 9/8. Like, this was probably massively printed because it is 90s, but I just thought it was cool to get it in a 9/8. The glow in the dark Ghost Rider number 15. This is the direct edition, which means that it's pretty common. But yeah, just a really cool book, and I got it for basically the cost of the slab. But it's just such a great cover, and just a classic 90s trope kind of thing, like, some gimmick. And it's just a really cool one. I should almost turn off the light and see what this looks like, because it'd be really cool to see it glow. So yeah, really great. Glow in the dark cover, Death Watch cameo, Johnny Blaze blackout appearance. Very cool. So Ghost Rider number 15. So that's it for this part. And the next part is the finale with the last books for this unboxing. And there's some pretty great stuff actually to show you. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoy this channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification and all that kind of stuff. And if you can do me a favor, in the description, I put a link to the CBCA Awards, where you can vote for this channel to be the channel of the year for unboxings. So please, check that link out and give me a vote. I really appreciate it. Thanks for now.